Hi there, I'm Jan Copeland, your coach for all the women real estate agents who are wanting to be successful and thrive in spite of the coronavirus. So today I am meeting with an amazing woman who I met here online, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know her before, I think just a couple of days ago. So I'm
Yeah.
here with Darcey Edwards. Darcey, thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. So Darcey has her, as I said, she's her own broker. She owns Edwards Realty Trust, and she's been in the real estate industry for 8 years. You have your own brokerage for the last year. And how are things going, Darcey?
It's good. Here it's it's interesting because I still have a lot of buyers that are like, I want to go see that property. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see what we can do about that in this current environment. And I've dealt with a lot of out-of-state buyers because where I work, the area I'm in is high tech. So everybody's coming from all over the world, really. And so I've done virtual tours with them forever, like before Skype, before Facebook Live, all that, before, before Zoom or any of those. So I would
Wow.
actually go in and have to go in and just video it and then send it to them or turn the camera and we talk and so forth. So yeah, it's busy here. It's a little bit more unstable because both sides of that coin of like, do I go or do I not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So when you would facilitate, the reason that we're talking is because
Yeah.
I'm putting together a program to help agents who never did virtual appointments before get comfortable with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Get comfortable talking about it, get comfortable facilitating it. So you did it a lot for out of state clients. So did you have initial consults on Skype or FaceTime
Mhm.
or something, or and how did they receive it? Like, talk to us about that.
So the people I'm dealing with are generally engineers anyway, and they're high tech. And I have a high tech background, so I can speak their language a little bit. I've actually also had another client who was a little bit older. Our whole transaction took place on Facebook Messenger. So I had to like remind
Wow.
myself to go look at it every day because that's the only way she would communicate with me. So it's really finding where that person's comfort is and just going with what they're into. Um, I've been able to, I have a lot of millennials as well. So a lot of my stuff is texted. Like they won't even talk to me necessarily until we're like at the house. And that's when I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to put you on video so that you can see what we're going through. And I take them through the whole process of looking at the house from like before we get there
Yep.
sometimes and after and say, okay, these are the things that you would love. I'm going to tell you some of the stuff that's not great. Like, and I've done that with multiple people. We have a lot of people from California that come up
Hmm.
and they want to see stuff before they get here so that when they are here, we can see them in real life.
Right.
Right. The
Okay.
months before.
And
So I prep it just with like talking to them if on whatever platform they're comfortable.
okay, and I like that. I like that. I think it's interesting you mentioned Facebook Messenger because I've been telling my clients and women agents that you've got to be connecting with people. Facebook Messenger is a tool, is a great communication tool.
Yeah.
And then texting. Um, and then you mentioned that when you initially talk to them, a lot of your people are tech savvy, so they're okay, and they're out of state, so they're okay with the virtual appointments.
Hmm.
How do you think, do you have a plan for enacting a new policy now until we're through this with respect to not showing houses with them there? Like, are you putting any plans in place for either virtual listing appointments or virtual buying appointments?
I kind of do that anyway because we're here. It's so much. Um, People prefer not to talk to you. I mean, they pretty much want to see, okay, you do this, just go do it and handle stuff. And so a lot of the times I'm already on those platforms anyway. And that's how we're already communicating. I mean, I might be the devil, but I do Zillow leads.
Yes,
And
I
a
love
lot of my clients are on Zillow, and a lot of them aren't around here. So we have to initially talk, we text, we initially, I go through my stuff before we meet in real life. And even then they're, after that, they're just like, okay, whatever you think is best, whatever you want to see, however you want to do that. And so my personal is, that's why you invested in the video. So as a listing agent, you had better have really good video, because that's now is when we needed that video to look really good so that we can actually have a virtual tour. And that's how I do all mine.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely. What I'm, well, there's a couple things I want to mention there. In answer to what you just said, I am suggesting to all my clients, make sure that you go to your listings and make amazing video. So
Yep.
make a video of in the kitchen, #1 room, master bath, #2 room, then go to the family. And I mean, like, not one of these hurry up and get out, not one of these, I'm at an open house, walk with me through the house. No, it's like really looking at the details of the home. And that onus does reside on the listing agent. It's not the buyer's agent responsibility. I think in these times,
Yep.
listing agents need to be proactive and make these videos, take amazing pictures, and so that they can provide that to anybody, any agent who has a buyer. Okay, so the other thing you said that maybe you kind of inferred, but I'm saying that you said it, was that your clients just, and then you would say, listen to me, or they just say whatever you think, whatever. And I think it's really key in these times to be the certain.
Mm-hmm.
In these uncertain times, we have to be the calm, we have to be the certain, we have to be the confident. And
Yep.
so I think that this works well for you, Darcey, because you have confidence. And I think people pick up on that, and then they trust you. Where I have ladies in my groups on Facebook that aren't my clients, but they always raise their hand and say, but people don't listen to me. Or, how do you get people to know that you know what you're talking about? You need to put that out there, right?
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure if I looked at your Facebook and your social media, if I Google your name, you're a premier agent with Zillow. You just told me, and I'm sure you would look really good and credible. So in these times, these folks, in order to have people feel comfortable with you doing virtual appointments, they need to make sure if they Google their own name, they look good on LinkedIn with over 500 connections. Mm-hmm. They look good on Facebook with really engaging with who they are and getting some vulnerability out there, being the calm in the storm, and being very connected. As an agent, we need to be connected. So
very connected, yes. And that's the other thing I've done is I started a lot of, I do a lot of Facebook lives. I do a lot of virtual groups right now. All of a sudden I have like 3 that I'm hosting, and I host a mastermind. And I said, okay, we can't meet. We're doing it all on Zoom. Here's the link. Here's do this, here's do that. And I always tell people, whenever there's a time of crisis or when people are scared, be the leader.
That's right.
Be the leader. And just like, oh, just follow me. I'll help you. Just follow what I do. I'll just, and I am very well connected in my community, and now's a great time to do that, because you're stuck at home sort of, or whatever. Go to work every day.
Yep. Get ready. You got ready. We're recording this at your time, 7 a.m. And I really appreciate that. I got up, put my makeup on, did my hair to the extent, this is since December. So
you look beautiful.
Thank you. It's not something I'm excited about, but you brought up.
I have mine coming. I'm Madonna 1992.
Well, you brought up one more thing that I wanted to really discuss, and I've been telling my clients this for about a year now: the power of virtual groups.
Yep.
So when you're the leader
super smart,
of a virtual group, on Facebook, I'm thinking like lifestyle in X, fun living in insert name of town. And you just invite a bunch of people, you're growing your audience. Yep. Can you speak to us about maybe one of your virtual groups that is like that, which is lifestyle or you know, whatever your town is, you know, focused, laser focused.
So I live about 20 miles away from like where my office is. So my office is in Hillsborough, but I live out in the country in Banks on like acreage. So the quarantine, I'm like, yeah, I do this every day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever. It's not, I have no people by me. I'm good. I'm clean. But in Hillsborough, so what I started was a group, and I called it the Quarantine Coffee Club. And it's just business owners that I knew who couldn't go to like their chamber meetings and whatnot. And so like chambers finally got on board after I did that. Like anyway,
Yeah.
which is fine. So I just changed the date and I added on there a that'll be coming out on Wednesday. It's Wind Down Wednesday. So that's an 8 p.m. little after the kids are asleep. You're done with your day. You've just kind of like, I just need to like get some stuff out. And so I made that one. I have a mastermind called Rise and Grind that I work with people online because I do coaching too.
Yeah.
And we meet up on Wednesday mornings. And that one's like hardcore, like, hey, what are you doing? And accountability. And then the other one is just like virtual networking. And so you can name it whatever you want and just start it and just invite people and have a very specific day. If you don't know how to work with Zoom or any of those, take your class to learn it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like I'm at my house, the lighting's all off for what I normally do. I'm looking at my picture going, I'm not that yellow. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Right. It's that done is better than perfect, right? Done is better than perfect. What I like about what you said is, you know, when you have a group, have some engagement that's deliberate, right? That's intentional. And specifically what I'm thinking of, I like your Quarantine Coffee Club, where last Tuesday, I went live and I told everybody my suggestion would be get in with connecting of all the local entrepreneurs. I said, get your chamber book out and connect with them all. And then you be the leader and say, hey, let's get together, you know, once a week, twice a week, and let's just really brainstorm. Let's give each other shout outs on our Facebooks and Instagrams and everything. And so we're thinking along the same lines. And so I think that you could make that an event. And you can make an event and take it out for the next 3 months, and then it'll come up in people's, you know, feeds as an event, in addition to joining the group. So I think that's fabulous. So as we end our time here, because I know I told you it would be 15 minutes, so I don't want to, I want to keep to that promise with you and everyone that I'm interviewing on this. When you think about virtual meetings, what do you think the public's perception is of virtual meetings right now, and how should we be really communicating that out, in your opinion, as agents?
I think if they're so I've never that's why I have my own company. I'm not that I'm not a great team player. I just like to be in charge of everything all the time. So I never was into having the office environment where I hung out. So those brokers who are into that, or agents that are into that, like I need that social interaction, this is going to be a difficult thing for them. I don't need that. I'm more like different personality. And so for them, it's going to be a challenge of like, this is a real relationship. I see it as a real relationship. I'm meeting you. Now I know you. Now you're in my sphere. I love you. And this is amazing. And the world is really our oyster at this time. We can connect with anybody all over the world, and it's such a great opportunity. But I think what's going to happen is those people who needed that office environment, this is going to be a challenge for them, and they're going to have to like rearrange their lives. They're going to have to, I mean, they're homeschooling their kids. They're trying to, you know, keep the house in order. They're trying to keep their lives in order. And so it's going to be a transition. And the faster they can make that transition in their mind, the quicker and the better they're going to come out at the end. They'll rise to the top.
That's right. Because I'm sorry, I have to get a drink. I can't believe I have to do this. Hold on one second.
No worries. I have my coffee. I made too much turmeric in. Now I'm like,
I did that yesterday. Well, I feel like this isn't going to stop. But anyway, I thank you so much,
Thank
Darcey,
you.
for your time. I've got to go take care of
Yeah.
this, but I will let you know when I post this. And thank you so, so much. I really
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you, Jan.